Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now it has been announced Mauricio Lara will face Josh Warrington in a featherweight rematch on September 4th at Headingley Stadium in Leeds. Also on the card, Katie Taylor will defend her WBA, WBC, IBF and WBO lightweight titles against Jennifer Hahn. So there we go, and also capacity restrictions will be lifted, so Josh Warrington's rematch with Lara will take place in front of potentially 20,000 fans at Leeds Stadium. So that's great for Josh Warrington to have that kind of support, and it's great for his rematch. Now, this is a strange one for Josh Warrington because he really did have this stage where he went from strength to strength. Lee Selby, Frampton, Kid Galahad, he was really working his way through that division and was widely regarded as number one. Then of course came the situation with the IBF, he vacated and fought Lara it wasn't a keep busy fight because it was a tough fight, it was always going to be a tough fight. I don't think they intended to pick Lara because he's a soft touch. That was never the case, but ultimately I do think they got a better fighter than they expected. So they did expect a good fighter, but maybe they got more of a fight than they bargained for. Nevertheless, in the grand scheme of things, it is a minor setback. I mean, Lara will be hoping to get the stoppage victory again, and we have never really seen Josh Warrington in that kind of trouble. He's always been renowned for having this granite chin, and we've seen him go in there with Frampton and the likes of Kid Galahad, and I mean, not much has really bothered him. I mean, there have been moments, but nothing compared to what happened in the Lara fight. I do think that he perhaps in some ways didn't recognise the kind of threat that Lara possessed, and that can always catch someone like Warrington off guard, because it's one thing to go in there with a big puncher, someone who's fast as well and has that kind of style, but it's another thing to go in there and be unprepared for just how much that power can damage Josh Warrington, how much that can affect him. The same thing applied in Anthony Joshua's loss to Andy Ruiz Jr., and AJ actually had a call with Josh Warrington following that fight because Josh Warrington revealed it. So it was a similar situation. Anthony Joshua knew Ruiz was a good fighter, fast hands, and could pop a bit as well. But I don't think he really expected what Ruiz was bringing to the table. The same does apply with Josh Warrington, and in the rematch, he will recognise fully what is in front of him, so he will be able to prepare diligently for that and all of the scenarios that may occur in the boxing ring. Now, I don't know about you guys, but what I saw from Josh Warrington is he was pushing his punches a little bit and his feet weren't moving as fast as they normally do. It was almost like he was stuck in mud a little bit. As I said, him perhaps not expecting Lara to be that good did play a factor, but I definitely do not believe that that is anywhere close to the best Josh Warrington. On nights like that, it can take things such as Josh Warrington not expecting him to be that good, Josh Warrington not being on form, maybe a few other things in camp, just little things here and there, and they add up. That is why an upset victory for someone like Lara is going to be able to happen, because of certain little things here and there. And we knew that Josh Warrington had his sights set on other fights in that division. Shakur Stevenson was one of them, but he has to beat Lara and able to get back to that point. So if he wants to become a world champion once again, Lara is standing in his way. But the thing is, the thing standing in the way for Lara is Josh Warrington. He's beat him once. He will be confident of doing it again. Then imagine what he is able to do coming off of 2 victories over Josh Warrington. No one can say that Josh Warrington was no good. No one can say that, yeah, but I mean, it's just Josh Warrington. This guy has victories over Lee Selby, over Carl Frampton, over Kid Galahad. So there is no saying that Josh Warrington was never any good, because he's proven it multiple times. So if Lara is able to defeat him twice, imagine what kind of position he is going to put himself in. So the motivation will be definitely there for him to go and beat Warrington again. And one thing that we spoke about last time after the fight was the fact that it is a shame that the World Championship title was not on the line, because that would have been a great moment for Lara, but going into a rematch, in some ways it might be better that it wasn't, because that means that he won't be taking his foot off the gas. He won't be thinking, I've made it now. He still has to win this one to get a chance at a world championship. Whereas if he became a world champion in beating Josh Warrington, this would be the first defense of his title, and yes, he would not want to lose the first defense, but psychologically he's already made it. Whereas in the current situation, he still has to beat this guy to go on, and that does make a difference definitely for him and his hunger going into the rematch, because it was a big opportunity last time around. He took it with both hands. It's an even bigger opportunity this time around, because after this, it's a world title opportunity. Now, having said all of that, what are Josh Warrington's chances? Do we believe that, okay, he's maybe not as good as we thought? Maybe he's on the downhill, maybe he's going downhill, maybe he's not the same fighter he once was. I don't believe either of those two. I don't believe that Josh Warrington was never that good. I think that he's an incredible fighter, and I don't think he's going backwards, because he's what, 30, 31? He's still in his prime. So that's not the case. I think that there is still much more to come from Josh Warrington. All in all, I think that this was just a slip-up. I think that the stars aligned for Lara, and it was a difficult night at the office for Josh Warrington. But I think that we will see a different fighter, one who is more meaningful and is willing to go after the fight, to go and win it. And I think he is even capable of getting a stoppage against this guy. I think that last time around, he looked like he was boxing more than anything. It wasn't a typical Josh Warrington performance. And of course, going in there with that kind of style, you don't really want to fight fire with fire, especially if you are better than that and he has boxing abilities that will serve him well. If he wasn't a good boxer, he wouldn't stick with the names he has stuck with, like the Framptons and the Selbys. Those guys are good boxers. Kid Galahad as well. That's a horrible style for someone like Warrington to face. Yet, he still found a way, and that's one thing he does have in his locker. He finds a way. I think that next time around, he won't be so keen to just allow Lara the space to move into, allow Lara to dictate the pace and the distance of the fight. Those fundamental things are the reasons why Lara was able to gain control of the contest. I think that Warrington will set a different pace, his own pace, and he will make it more difficult for Lara to have any kind of success, because he doesn't want to give anything away, and he definitely does not want to be eating up so many body shots. Those are certain things he will be working on in training as he prepares for September 4th, in front of potentially 20,000 Leeds fans. I mean, some of those fans are going to be Lara's, but still, you get the gist of it. There are going to be plenty of fans out in support of Josh Warrington. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.